We were experiencing some technical issues during this recording that caused audio feedback. Thank you for your patience and understanding. The conversation is still valuable and we appreciate you tuning in.
Greetings and welcome to the Elevated Flow podcast. I'm your coach, Flo Elkins. The Elevated Flow podcast spotlights elite and everyday female athletes over 40, sharing how they elevate their game or their flow in sports, wellness, and love. These are powerful stories of resilience, wisdom, and inspiration that help women stay active, age strong, and pass the torch to the next generation. As I said last week, I have a special guest, so please help me welcome Miss Tanya Walker. She is from Austin, Texas, and she is a proud mother of two grown men. She likes to indulge in kayaking and boxing in her free time. She has worked full time in the technical support department for the city of Austin for the last 9 years. In her spare time, she runs a very successful business that she established in 2018 called Black Women Who. She started the business to encourage Black and Brown women and children to hold space in spaces where they were rarely seen. Her ultimate goal is to empower, educate, and inspire their members through their event, no matter their socioeconomic background. She is determined to change the narrative and dispel the misconception that Black and Brown women are not interested in certain activities. She plans to achieve this by highlighting Black and Brown women and children actively involved in kayaking, hiking, sailing, swimming, and more. And please help me welcome Miss Tanya Walker. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Flo. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. So we'll just get right into the conversation. It's so funny how timing babies. So we met back in year, was it 2022 or 2023?
I think it was 2023.
Okay, 2023. So years ago. So yeah, we're kind of out of the pandemic. But you were having an event. Back then, your company was called Black Women Who Kayak. And I was just so happened to be in town from Los Angeles, and I was going down to the Texas Rowing Center to row. And I called Tracy Falkenthal, and she was telling me, "Oh, we're having a Black Women Who Kayak event, and they're going to learn how to row." So I show up, and I see I'm with these Black women on the dock getting ready to learn how to row. And I was so excited because, as you probably know, there's not many of us that row. And when I do visit other rowing clubs, I'm usually the only one. So your story is very, very inspiring. And the funny thing too, after we reconnected and you told me that you have rebranded to Black Women Who, I looked at all of the links on at the signature of your email, and I saw that NBC clip, Good Morning America or NBC. Saw a picture of myself from that event. So I was like, oh, so cool. But anyway, so yeah, please tell me what inspired you to not just invite people to kayak, but to actually establish an organization around it.
That's a great question. So Flo, I was inspired to start Black Women Who out of both passion and necessity. I was able to, and I'm a spiritual person, so I always tell people that I was able to turn my passion into my purpose. And my passion basically was just being in outdoor spaces. And as of, the very few African American women who at this time owned a kayaking business, I saw firsthand how underrepresented, Black and brown women were in outdoor spaces. So I wanted to create a community where women like me could feel welcome, supported, celebrated while exploring nature. Um, what started as a simple kayaking outing was really about reclaiming space on that water and building confidence and showing that we belong wherever the adventure takes us. Um, and basically over time, Black Women Who, because as you mentioned that it was called Black Women Who Kayak Plus, over time we grew beyond that kayaking, because we needed to be bigger and just not have just one activity. So women kept asking for more opportunities to connect, to heal, to grow together outdoors. And so we expanded into the camping, hiking, yoga, and other wellness and adventure activities. Just basically creating a holistic platform that educates and empowers and inspire women. And today our mission is about more than recreation. It's about equality, inclusion, and our legacy. We're breaking barriers in outdoor culture, sparking curiosity in younger generations and ensuring that Black and brown women see themselves as leaders and adventurers in every space we enter.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you originally rehab and often, but now I know even when I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, you said that you had expanded and you have now have 12 chapters. How did you decide to, or which states and cities did you decide, helped you decide where to start those other chapters?
The funny thing about that, it wasn't about me deciding, it was about the ladies deciding.
Okay. Okay.
The ladies contacted me after they had either heard about Black Women Who or they saw me on, the NBC Today show. These ladies contacted me and was like, "Hey, is there a Black Women Who in my area?" And that I would, make sure, there wasn't one already established. And if there wasn't, this was the opportunity for them to step up and be like, okay,
Oh.
you know what? I want to start a chapter in my area. And so that's how we've really expanded, was because of the community seeing that need and then coming together and, just like this, there's a movie that they say if you build it they'll come. And so I feel like that's just how this organization has happened, is because they build it in each chapter, each city, and ladies came.
It kind of sounds like they have each chapter has their own autonomy as far as how they proceed with. Okay, so how is it connected to your business or your original chapter?
Well, every chapter is connected to the hub, which is in Austin. And the reason why they're connected is because we're all on the same mission and vision, which is to empower, to educate, to inspire women through our events. We have so many different events with each chapter that I always, whenever one of our ladies, which is our admins, because they're all titled in different categories. So we have an admin, we have a moderator, and we have a host for each chapter. And so our admins, when we have our admin meeting, I always let them know that I want them to be able to create this space that they feel comfortable with.
Mm.
And so when they feel comfortable, they're going to make sure that their members feel just as comfortable and welcome as they are. So it's basically, it's an alignment on all the same level, but I allow them to have that space to be able to create it the way that they feel that they could bring more women and children to that space.
Okay. Okay. Now, as far as children are concerned, I know you made a point to say you have two grown men.
Yes.
What kind of activities did you do with them, and who was your inspiration for actually even getting into kayaking?
That's a great question because when my boys were young, there wasn't really many organizations or activities like there is now.
Mhm.
Like having Black Women Who, and you have Outdoor Afro, and a couple of other Black known organizations that are getting Black and brown women and children in these spaces. Well, that wasn't really something that I knew about when my kids were young. However, who planted that seed for me was in my senior year. I went to a Christian camp called Young Life. And there was this Caucasian lady, her name was Christy Harris. She basically took me under her wing. And when she took me under her wing, she introduced me to all these things that I do now.
Mhm.
And it just it was like I was in this bubble at first because I was in this safety bubble from where my mom was like, you can't do this, you can't do that and stuff. And so for my kids, when Christy brought me out of that bubble, when my kids came along, I just started to introduce them to the same things that Christy had introduced to me. And so it just became the birth of Black Women Who Kayak years later. Kind of
Mhm.
fast forward that's where I started kayaking again. And then I was like, man, I was like, why don't I see people who look like me out here kayaking and enjoying this amazing experience? And it was then that Facebook had these groups, and had just started those groups on their platform. And I created that group in Black Women Who Kayak Plus. And it's so funny that it was only this one lady who had this crappy kayak, this crappy inflatable kayak, who would always show up. And I told her, I said, you know what? I could just put this, close this group down, because basically, I could call you, and we could meet up. And she was the one who said, don't close that group. And I didn't. And her name is Miss Tawana Burks. I totally, God blessed me to have her on my path. And I didn't close the group down, and now we're 12 chapters strong, and we're growing. So it's been an amazing journey. So just to answer that, back forward some and answer that question, my kiddos, they've been involved. I put them in the same spaces that I was able to get in. And although I was still the only person of color, I
Mhm.
still wanted them to understand that they don't that they belonged in those spaces.
Absolutely.
That it wasn't just for one culture to experience. And so even to this day, like my kids, they snowboard, they water ski, they
Oh,
cliff
good.
jump, they do all the things that, you know, they're the only person of color doing it, but they do everything, everybody else does. And,
Right.
but they're safe about it. They're not just doing it and for the thrill, but they understand there's a safety perspective of it as well. So
Absolutely. And speaking of safety, I know a lot of pushback that I get with women or people when I try to introduce them to the sport of rowing. One of the first things they say is, "Oh, I don't know how to swim." And I know
yeah.
that you partnered with an organization that helped the women in your chapter learn how to swim. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So breaking down those barriers, I had to first realize why people weren't coming out there to kayak with me.
Mhm.
So one of the reasons was because of the fact that I had to gain trust.
Right.
Because why would they come out there and kayak or row with me and they don't trust me. They don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to build that trust. But the other thing was that I had to also look at what was the barriers causing them not to want to feel comfortable in those water activities. And that was just, it was mind blowing to see the statistics on African Americans who do not know how to swim,
Yeah.
and then their kiddos. Statistics shows that Black and brown kiddos are the highest in accidental drowning.
Yep.
And so I realized that I needed to face this barrier head on. And the only way I was able to do that is to partner with organizations that offered those swimming lessons. And British Swim School was one of them. We partnered with the YMCA to offer swimming lessons as well. And some also just two local African American ladies who are swim instructors. We just recently partnered with them to continue this amazing and just I don't even know the word I'm trying to look for, but just important safety skill. And so we partner with them to also offer that class, that swimming classes. And so yeah, it's been amazing. And sometimes when I see ladies and people ask me, why are you doing this? Why are you still doing what you're doing? And I tell them, I say, when I see the faces of these ladies, not only just learning how to swim for the first time, but really stepping outside of their comfort zone, and they are empowered by learning this life skill this life skill experience. And so it gives me that motivation to be like, you know what, Tanya, you need to keep doing this. And it's for a reason. And that reason is, if we could save even just one person, we're saving someone from drowning.
Right.
And we're also being able to put them in that space so that they could feel like how I feel when I'm out on the water, that healing and that comfortability, the just I feel like a lot of times when I'm on the water, it's the only sole place that I could actually feel like I'm a part of something, that this is bigger than me, but I'm in this space and I'm getting to enjoy it. So I
Right.
hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. As far as you talking about the confidence that these women, that you see them experience after learning this important skill, I talk a lot about the character, the confidence, and all of these different positive aspects that happen as a result of women and girls, especially being involved in sports. What are some other stories that you've heard of how that confidence and strength goes beyond their actual involvement in sports? Because it definitely carries over into other aspects of life.
And it does. I've had ladies who've told me that it's helped them to be more patient and to actually be able to utilize the skills, because we have workshops too that we teach different life-saving skills, not just swimming, but also survival skills. How to how to protect them in the wilderness, and we had just recently a wilderness first aid course where it taught them if anything happened while they were hiking or something like that, what's the course of action that they want to take to be able to either save themselves or save somebody else. And so all of our experiences is not just based on Black women who are them being in our group, but it's also for them to take with them to learn outside of it. And the amount of ladies that have taken these experiences and these life-saving skills is amazing and just mind-boggling, because of the fact that they're going to be at one point able to save somebody's life, and then able to utilize those skills to function into society.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely have ladies that they come back and they just tell us thank you. Thank you for showing me this skill, and it's the greatest part about that is that they don't have to they're not only doing this because for their generations, but they're doing this for other generations to come as well.
Right. And that is definitely something that I'm passionate about, passing it on to the next generation, because a
Yes.
lot of times our generation didn't get those things from our parents. And like you said, there were activities that your mother didn't allow you to be involved with. And so you getting involved in those things and passing it on to the next generation is really powerful. And outside of being involved in sports, one of the statistics that I like to quote is that 94% of women in C-suite positions were involved in sports growing up. And then 52% of them played a sport on the college level. So that just shows you right there how important it is and how the trajectory of girls' lives can change just from being involved in sports. And like you said, there are a lot of barriers, but I love when there are organizations that are specifically outreaching to girls and women and girls in underserved or underrepresented communities so that they can learn those life skills, character building skills. And I talk about that a lot with the girls that I teach. I actually coach middle school girls rowing. And so every week we have a theme that helps build teamwork and character and listening skills and respect and all of these different things that will definitely carry over outside of them actually being involved in sports.
Yes.
So I know that
Yeah.
one of the things that we talked about recently is one of your chapters has an event coming up this Saturday with a Learn to Row. Can you talk? I may be able to talk about it too, but if you can kind of share who the president or the host is of that chapter and talk a little bit more about that event this weekend.
I sure can. So the admin for the Dallas chapter is her name is Miss Rose Thompson. She's an amazing, and oh my gosh, she's on fire. She's a trailblazer. And so she's a pivotal just marker in this organization. And I can't say enough about her. But I will tell you that she is doing things with this chapter that is changing the trajectory of like how we think in African American culture, and that's the same thing we're doing in the Austin chapter. But she's taken this onto her own and really like grassrooting it and bringing the rowing into her to her members. She's actually even brought other events that has really has blossomed into these. Now they're doing like little series of like a kayaking, learning how to kayak and stuff. But the rowing, she's partnered with Prana, and I never pronounced their name right, but
Patagonia.
Patagonia, yes.
Yes.
She partnered with them and to actually make this event a successful event. And then, this is just the beginning for this chapter, and we're really trying to, or she's really trying to make this, put her prints down of, like, this is in an opening doors of letting members know that there's plenty of opportunities here if you just come and enjoy it.
Right.
Even if you are not able to afford the event, there is scholarships available. So then that way you can also, we want you to be able to experience these events no matter what. And I just love the fact that Rose is introducing rowing, because it is one of those events that you don't see many people of color doing. And when you do, it's just such a magical experience to see them out there in unison and rowing together, and it's just powerful. And so I hate that I'm gonna miss it, but I do know she's gonna take plenty of pictures and take plenty of videos, and just so we could post them on our platforms.
Yeah.
And hopefully, this is, like I said, this is not the first or the last rowing event. So if you do miss this one, there's going to be more to come.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I will say I kind of messed that one up as far as the dates are concerned, because originally it was supposed to be on my birthday in May, and I was all for it. I'm like, I'm doing it. I did it in Austin with them. I'm doing it. And then somehow, I guess the email slipped through with the dates. It was supposed to be like last weekend and then this weekend. And she picked this weekend, and I didn't realize it until I think we were texting when I sent you that picture, like, oh, this is like, I guess it was 3-year anniversary of when we met. And you're like, oh, they're having the event on the 13th. I'm like, oh, crap. They did pick that date and not the other. So anyway, I talked to Rose. I'm going to be heading out to Los Angeles, but I am stopping by there at like 7:30 in the morning before I go to the airport and take pictures and everything. I thought it was really, really powerful, though, especially in a time where the DEI is kind of going out the window. And I know a lot of companies were really, really investing in Black female businesses, especially during the pandemic. So I was really, really excited. And I know you said that Rose initiated that, and that there was an actual company that was sponsoring this event in the times where, people are kind of pulling their funds from that. So I really thought that was really empowering that Patagonia actually took on this event and is sponsoring it. So I want to give them kudos for that.
Ditto.
Yeah. Are there any other challenges or obstacles that you face, especially in this time with growing the organization and kind of reaching out to the Black and Brown community, or are you just kind of being embraced because of the community that you're reaching out to?
I feel like it's been a catch-22. Basically, there are times when the Black community will open up their arms and welcome anything that we offer as far as our events, and it's just some of those barriers that we face is just kind of dismantling the way that that they think. Because one of the biggest barrier is African American culture saying that this is a white thing,
Right.
that we're doing. So that's they'll is the arms are open, but there's still some apprehensive of like, I just don't know. Or the other thing is, for being a black owned business, um, you have to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's,
Yeah.
because the one thing that I've experienced in the earlier part of starting this business is that if you do mess up, if you do something that that isn't right, or somebody gets hurt or something like that, the next thing you know, it's like a wild fire. It could be where people are saying, I'm glad I didn't go, or I told you not to go. And so it could be a ripple effect. So that's one of the challenges. One of the biggest challenges we have is just to make sure that we don't leave room for error. So for us, in order for us to do that, that's why it's so important for me to get my volunteers, to get them certified. I have all of my volunteers are certified in CPR and first aid, and we sponsor that. They're also certified in water rescue. They're certified in the wilderness first aid that I mentioned earlier. So if there's not, I can't say that we can address all issues, but we sure can, now with the proper tools and stuff that we do have, we can address some things that do come about, and be able to, to handle it in a professional and in a fast manner. So that is, one of our biggest barriers. The other one is finding volunteers. It's so, in African American culture, volunteering is not the first thing that we have on our list to do, because I understand it. I get it. This is survival. We have to provide for our family. And if you're not offering funds to help me provide for my family, then, why am I going to, provide you my time? And so, that's one of the barriers that we have is finding those volunteers. Our allies, they don't struggle with that same issue. It's definitely something that I feel that makes us, not equal to our allies, but something we should all grow as a community and understand that, we're it's going to take more than just Black Women Who or any other Black organization. It's going to take the whole community to come together to us to fight for these spaces, to be in these spaces, So yeah, I tell you, it's been a journey, and I feel that the journey was definitely meant for me to walk on. But even though those barriers, those obstacles have come about, God has still provided for me in a way that I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not doing without. And so he does bless me with the right volunteers that come.
That's
He
important.
he blessed me with the right partners. Even though DEI is now obsolete, he's still blessed me with those partners that are still wanting that equity and equality and inclusion, into their environment, so into their business. So it's barriers there, but it is none that I could actually say that it's caused me any type of position where I'm not able to continue this mission.
Yeah.
I love that there are so many companies that they may have dismantled their DEI programs, so to speak, but their mission is still very much connected to diversity, equity, and inclusion. They might call it something else, but
Yes.
if that's part of their mission, it's like no matter what the government says, it's like, no, this is something that we really are passionate about. And I love that about US Rowing as well, because they're the same way. And there are some spaces where if you didn't involve other people, there would not be much participation. I mean, there are some sports where, these elite sports, but it's not as many people that are continuing their what do you call it? Their you know the word. They're not staying in the sport long enough. Retention. Their retention of the people that are involved in the sports is not going to sustain the sport itself. And I think that's one of the things that rowing was facing, especially in the United States. So I'm glad that there are still companies that are still invested in that mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah. The Texas Rowing Center that we partnered with here in Austin to offer the rowing, where you came, and we met. It's Matt, who is the owner of that business. He is just he's an amazing person. I truly am honored to be, in his space and just be able to partner with him and work with him, because he is gung-ho. He's on fire for, bringing Black and brown people in his, I know at the end of the day, it's about money.
Yeah.
It's about bringing in money. But it's also about making sure that we're all welcome in these spaces.
Absolutely.
And so he is making sure it's not about the money, because he even gives us discounts. So, and then the rowing, the event was actually, it was free. And so, for us to host, for them to host it. And so, it was basically just about, he's about just including and making sure that, you come to his establishment, you're going to be welcomed with open arms. It's not going to be like, do you belong here? It's going to be it's going to be that, I see Tanya, she's here rowing every day, and so it's I know you, and you belong here. So yeah, it's a bigger mission, but I feel like we're on the right we're still on the right track. Just sometimes it needs a little tweaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. And I'm glad that you had that same experience, because when I first went to the Texas Rowing Center, I just called everywhere I go, I try to row. So I'm always calling. I have a Facebook group with like 4,500 women, and I'll just go in there and say, oh, I'm going to this city. Anybody from here in the group live in this city or know the rowing club? And that's one of the ways that I actually got connected with the Texas Rowing Center. And I was the only when I went, but I felt so welcome. I didn't feel uncomfortable. It was a great experience. And I think that's what's really, really, I know that that's what's really important, especially for passing the torch to these younger generations, is really making sure that the spaces are welcoming. Because I'm a part of another group of Black women that row, or they're actually college age, and they talk about the rowing clubs and the different incidents that they've had involved in rowing that didn't make them feel welcome or safe. And so I think it's really, really important that we continue to make sure that those environments and those spaces where we aren't seen much, that we're still welcome regardless. I think that that's really important. And I think it speaks volumes just to your passion and everything too, because I remember specifically talking to Tanya, or not Tanya, Tracy, about the Black women who coming to learn to row event. And she says every month she had been having a learn to row, trying to invite Black people. And she was like, the most they had was 10. And when your organization came, there were 35 Black women there to learn to row. I thought that was so powerful. So
Yes. So powerful. Tracy is an amazing person, man. And it was so funny because we actually had a kayaking event there. And before I owned my own fleet of kayaks, we would rent at the Texas Rowing Center. And we was just, getting out there on the kayak and everything. And then Tracy saw me and she was like, hey, what are y'all doing? Do y'all want to learn how to row?
Right,
And
right.
we were like, row. I never even thought about that until I met Tracy, and she just really wrapped us in her arms and just was like, she didn't care like what size you were, if you didn't know how to swim or not. She was like, you gonna learn how to row. And we had ladies. The most powerful thing is that with Black women, what makes us so different from other organizations, and just trying to flip this script real quick, but it's the fact that we do offer scholarships for our ladies to be able to continue to hold space. And so we have ladies now that are rowing. We have their kiddos that are rowing, and they've been a part of the regatta race and races. And so it's been amazing just to see these kiddos just out there rowing and really just holding space in making this, like, man, this all started from Tracy inviting us to go row.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what would you say? Because I'm going to ask you two questions. What would you say to your younger self as a teenager? What would you say to that yourself as a teenager? How important sports is, and how much it would be involved in your life and the mission that you have based on what you've experienced now?
That's a good question. I would tell my younger self that sports and outdoor activities, they aren't just about competition or exercise.
That's good. That's good.
They are tools for healing, confidence, and self-discovery. I would remind her that moving her body, whether on the water, a trail, or a field, would one day open up doors that she never imagined. So connecting her to communities she didn't even know she needed to connect to. And also, giving her the strength to carry others forward. So I feel like that I would tell her not to give up, to keep going, because the bigger picture is still yet to come. We have so much more to accomplish. And we've just kind of, like, I use the analogy that my organization and several other organizations, that we're like on the side of Mount Everest, and we're these little specks trying to make a difference. And our tools basically those blood, sweat, and tears, in using our fingers to just struggling away to make a difference. And
Yeah.
so I do feel that that I would tell her, just don't give up and keep going. And the reward is still yet to come. Now, I won't say that we haven't received several rewards, because the rewards itself is the look on people's faces, or when they come back to you and they tell you thank you for letting me, or helping me to feel welcome. I never, some of these ladies, they'll be like, I never thought I would do this in my life. And we were a part of that. And so that's a reward within itself. But I would tell her to keep going again, and it's worth it to continue.
So you're saying that you were part of actually helping these women do that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
powerful. So now, what would you say to an older woman, because I focus on women that are 40 and over, that have never played a sport, not involved in exercise, or involved, but they need some motivation to keep going?
Yeah. And I'm 49, Flo, so that is right up my alley. It's like how I tell myself every day that I get out there and kayak or do something. But for women over 40 and beyond, and we've had ladies that have come to our events that are in their late 60s and 70s.
Good.
And it amazes me, because I'm like, I want to be like you when I'm 70,
Yes.
I want to make sure that I come still to this kayaking event or hiking event or
Right.
camping event. Right. But I think the message is simple for us and for them. It's like I said, it's never too late to begin, and it's always
Absolutely.
worth it to continue.
Absolutely.
Your body is worthy of movement, and your spirit is worthy of joy.
If you're listening right now and you're thinking, okay, Flo, I know I need to get moving, but I don't even know where to start, this is for you. I created a 21-day Get Active, Stay Active challenge just for women like you. It's simple, it's doable, and it's designed to help you build confidence, strength, and momentum without feeling overwhelmed. Every day, you'll get clear guidance and small, powerful steps that add up to big results. And by the end of those 21 days, you'll know, not only feel stronger, you'll know exactly how to keep going. So if you're ready to take that step, join me. Click the link in the description to join the waitlist. Your future self will thank you for it. Now let's get back to the episode.
So your presence in these spaces, it does matter. And outdoor activities it isn't about keeping up. It's about showing up. And every step, every paddle stroke, every stretch is an act of self-love.
Absolutely.
And it's also a reminder that adventure has no age limit.
I love it. Someone sent me a video this morning of a woman that was in her 70s. She might have been older, but running the 100-meter dash, and she was just like, I think she was older, but she was just saying how she feels like her grandkids and everything think of her as an inspiration, but she feels like that, like it's movement. It's like a show of self-love, and you just have to keep moving, because then it brings you more life.
Exactly.
So how do you elevate your flow in life, in balancing life, work? Because you say you work full time, you have your business, family, and whatever else is going on in your life. How do you balance your flow or elevate your flow in your life?
Well, I would say I have an amazing group of volunteers, and for the business, I would say the volunteers is what helps me to to stay focused and stay balanced, because I have some ladies who are my admins who's been with me since the beginning.
Okay.
And with a lot of them, a couple of them, they tell me when to take several seats, and then they tell me when I need to stand. And so I be like, all right, I hear y'all, I listen to it. But more on a personal level, therapy, I feel like therapy is so important, and that helps me stay grounded. But also, I have a great support group of people. My partner, my mom. My mom is like my business partner. And so my circle of friends is small, but my support system is amazing, and they have definitely helped me to, pick me back up. And whenever I felt like I was falling, they've been my backbone. And so yeah, I can't thank them enough. And without them, without all of those folks I mentioned, I don't believe that there would be a Black women who, and so I'm grateful for all of them.
Yeah, definitely. And you said the key thing. People have so much more success when they have a community that they are connected with and they are moving forward with the same mission. So I think it's really wonderful what you're doing. So before we end, can you tell everybody your socials where they can find out more about Black Women Who, and so they can see if there's a chapter in their city or if they're interested in starting one?
Yes, I sure can. So our Instagram handle is Black Women Who _ and we're on the other platforms that we're on is on Facebook under Black Women Who -8 Austin, Texas. That was the main hub. And so if you do contact us there, we would be able to direct you to the chapters and make sure that, if you're trying to find a chapter in your area. The other platform is our website, which is www.blackwomenwho.com. There's a section on there where you can send direct messages to me personally. And yeah, we'll definitely get you started. If there's no chapter and you want to start one, we'll get you started. If there is a chapter there, you're going to be welcome with open arms.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I love your shirt too. Like, you can't see mine. I have my Flow Life Fitness shirt on. But show your Black Women Who shirt. I think it's so cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll get one to you, Miss Flo.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, until next time, this is Coach Flo signing off. Remember to find your zone and elevate your flow. Peace.
Thank you.